Hello and welcome to WEBICLASS English Higher. We would like to begin this class with punctuation, and here are some ideas about how we use the comma. I know we know how to use the comma, but you may find some points interesting which you may add to the way you use the comma. Generally speaking, we all know that the comma is used whenever we need a pause. The objective of today's lesson is that by the end of the lesson, we would be able to write one sentence using the comma in one of the new ways suggested. I say new because new is relative. Some of you might find something new which others do not find new. Now, I've said already that the comma indicates a pause, generally speaking. The comma is used to separate items in a list. That is, because in a list of items we use commas, we know that the commas used in a list are separating the items one from another. Now, however, the comma is not used before the last item in the list if the last item is preceded by the word and. Example, I bought a rubber, comma, a pen, comma, a pencil, and a rubber. Look at and. There's no comma before and is introduced in the very last item, which is the ruler. However, if you think that you would need a pause before the final item, then of course you need a comma. Look at this. I bought a rubber, a pencil, a pen, a book, comma, and a rather expensive but unwanted ruler. Though the last item is a ruler, it comes in a long sort of group of words. A rather expensive but unwanted ruler. Because of that, I think we will need a pause before we say that item. Because of that, we still put a comma before and. You might need a comma to separate parts of a sentence. Now, look at this. Mahmoud told me a story, comma, which was interesting. The comma is there because which was interesting. What is interesting is not Mahmoud, is not the story, but the fact that Mahmoud told me a story, that idea of Mahmoud telling me a story, is what was interesting. That means interesting is representing the whole of Mahmoud told me a story. So to separate telling of the story and what was interesting, we need a comma. Compared to this, Mahmoud told me a story which was interesting, no comma. This means that the story is what was interesting, not the idea of Mahmoud telling me a story. Now, this is because it is the story which was interesting. Now you can see that which was interesting as a group of words is acting like an adjective. So it's an adjectival group qualifying story. Normally there is no comma between adjective and noun, and the noun is qualifying. Because of that, we don't need a comma before which was interesting. But in the preceding example, we use a comma because which was interesting doesn't refer to only a story, but then to a whole idea of Mahmoud telling me a story. Right. Now, what we've done today is that we have seen that generally a comma indicates a pause, which we all know, in a list of items. you don't need a comma before and, which precedes the last item, generally speaking. But if the last item is long, yes, you may need a pause before saying out that last item, so you put a comma. We've also seen that where a comma is used to represent something which is long rather than a simple noun, we need a comma. But if the comma is preceding a phrase which is doing the function of an adjective, then we don't put a comma, because there is no comma in the English language generally, which separates the adjective from the noun it qualifies. Please hold on for your takeaway.
Today's takeaway.
Construct a sentence using the comma in a way which you think is exciting.
Right, this is Roger Olympio, your WEBICLASS teacher, saying bye-bye. Thank you for following this lesson, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.